That was nice, Michael. I like that. Good morning. I'm Barbara Hudgins, and my pronouns are she, her. And I have looked out over the audience several times and gone, ooh, I'm in the older group. So here I am. I'm happy to serve this morning as the worship associate and to call us to worship with our chalice lighting. A flaming chalice has been the symbol of Unitarian Universalism for many decades, a symbol of hope, of reason, of the spark of the divine that shines in all of us. We join our siblings in faith each Sunday by lighting our chalice here in our sanctuary. And we invite those online to light a flame wherever you are as we light ours with these words. What is it we worship as you use as we gather? Rather than adoration of a deity, we gather to practice reverence for life. Rather than lone truths and fixed answers, we gather to awaken curiosity and nurture our search for meaning. We gather weary and uplifted, despairing and hopeful, broken and yet still whole and fully loved. In the spirit of compassion, curiosity, and community, we light our chalice today. Okay. And please rise in body or spirit for our opening song in the teal hymnal, We Give Thanks. It's a nice, rousing song. Oh, give thanks for this precious day, for a gathering on this far away, for the time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for a gathering here and those far away, for the time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Urbana-Champaign. We are a people of many different ages, genders, bodies, histories, identities, and beliefs. And we are united in our commitment to our mission to build community, seek inspiration, promote justice, and find peace. My name is Reverend Beth Monholland. My pronouns are she, hers. I am a short white woman with curly hair and glasses, and I have the deep honor and privilege of serving as the lead minister to this congregation. If you are a visitor today, we extend you a special welcome. We thank you for choosing to share your Sunday morning with us. And if you'd like to stay connected to the church and learn more about our congregation, you're invited to complete a guest card and drop it in the offering plate later in the service. You will be added to our weekly e-news where we share much information about who we are and what we do. But no matter who you are this morning, whether you are gathered with us here in the sanctuary or joining us via our YouTube live stream, I trust that today this service will bring your spirit what it most needs. As I mentioned, we are a congregation of all ages, which means we welcome the noises and distractions that young people might bring into a Sunday morning. And because our faith development Sunday classes are on hiatus for the summer, today and pretty much all summer will be an all ages service. But whether you are young or young at heart, if you need to keep your hands busy in order to focus and listen, you're invited to grab a coloring, an activity pack, or a fidget toy just outside the sanctuary doors. And if for any reason you need to stretch your legs or attend to your body's needs, you're also welcome to go across the entryway into Fellowship Hall where the service is being live streamed. And if you have a little one 4 and under, we do have a nursery. It is available this morning, although again, your babies are welcome to stay here. And if you have a little one, I said this last week, the invitation stands. I'll be happy to hold that little one for you, should you need it held. With that said, I would welcome you all to greet each other this morning. If you're here in the sanctuary, I'll ring our chime and invite you to turn to a neighbor and say hello. Move about the room if you wish. If you're joining us on YouTube, please drop a hello and where you are in the chat, and I'll ring the chime to bring us back together. Thank you all for those lively greetings. You're invited to keep those conversations flowing right after the service for our fellowship hour in Fellowship Hall, where we will have tea, coffee, because we're a UU church, and lots of treats. So please continue your fellowshipping together. Each week, when we gather, we practice spiritual generosity by making space for our joys and sorrows, our griefs and gratitudes. You're invited when you come here to bring your whole self, to not leave parts of who you are outside those doors. And we know that when we bring our whole selves, we bring our whole lives, the things that weigh us down, that hurt us, the things that lift us up and make us smile. And together, it is an act of spiritual generosity to make space for that wholeness. And so we do that together by singing a, Lord, everybody, my brain just stopped. Blessing song. Yep, a blessing song. Thank you. I should have mentioned in my introduction, I'm a woman of a certain age. We sing a blessing song together. We sing May the Long Time Sun. And you're invited to come forward to the childless table here or the center table. And this morning, you'll be invited to light a candle for yourself and for the world, for all that you are holding and all we are holding collectively. If you have a joy and sorrow that you'd like shared aloud in this service, you're welcome to submit that via email at joysandsorrows@uucuc.org, or if you're here in the room, you can fill out a joy and sorrow card. We'll collect those and we will read them aloud later in the service. But for this time, I invite you to take a breath. If you're here in the room, if you're joining us online, bring yourself fully present into this moment with this beloved community. And then we will sing. And if you're so moved, come forward to light a candle.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sue Stock. My pronouns are she, hers. I serve on your Board of Trustees and also have the privilege of co-leading our Pathways to Membership classes. Earlier this month, we had the pleasure of leading our most recent class, and 8 people signed our membership book, officially joining our congregation. Much to celebrate. We joyously welcome the gifts of their presence and widen our circle of community to welcome them among us. Their names will soon be up on the screen, and if they're present today, I invite them to come forward. If you're coming forward, bring your order of service, please. Come on up. We have a gift of a book and a rose, and this is to nurture your curiosity and your search for meaning, and also to nurture your flourishing commitment to our covenantal faith and to our shared mission. So we have a blessing to welcome our new members. Congregation, if you'll find the blessing in your order of service and on the screen. And so you UCUC members, we invite you to please rise and body your spirit and join me in saying aloud the bolded words. We, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Urbana-Champaign, welcome you into our community with open hearts. We offer to you not just welcome, but belonging. May you find with us a place of both comfort and challenge, a place where your spirit can both rest and grow, a place where you are known and can transform more fully into who you wish to be. We promise to enter into covenant with you and to commit collectively to living our mission. And now, new members, I invite you to read aloud your promise.
We, the newest members of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Urbana-Champaign, thank you for this welcome. We thank you for creating a community that our spirits can now call home, for creating work that calls us to deeper justice and love, for creating connections that make space for our differences. We affirm our commitment to the mission of this church and to enter into covenant with you.
And this is for all of us. Together, we will build community, seek inspiration, promote justice, and find peace. Welcome to our newest members.
We live our mission in this congregation by connecting day by day and week to week through the opportunities both within and beyond our walls. That means welcoming new members and engage with as many opportunities offered through our faith development congregational life. Everyone is invited to attend today's, here, it just jumped right into that. Here are some announcements. Everyone is invited to attend today's budget education session at noon in Fellowship Hall. Members will vote on our budget in the 26-27 church year at our annual meeting on June 7th. And in the spirit of shared ministry and transparent leadership, We want everyone to understand the budget and priorities. Singers, musicians, poets, performers of all kinds, sign up now for our next coffee house on this coming Saturday, May 30th. And if performing isn't your thing, sign up to bring treats or help with setup and cleanup. This all ages events is open to everyone. Join our Queer UUs and Allies Coalition as they sponsor our next See You at the Movie on Friday, June 6th at 6 p.m. in the Fellowship Hall. We will be reviewing the queer cult classic, But I'm a Cheerleader. This satirical coming-of-age film set in a conversion-type program was first released in 1999, and it's still very relevant today. Everyone is welcome. Read more details about these and other events in our e-news, and check out the full calendar of events in Realm. Each Sunday, in recognition of our very real interdependence and reliance on each other, we pass the plate and share our offering with the organization doing the work of justice in this world. Our shared offering partner this month is Days for Girls. An international organization works to eliminate the stigma and limitations associated with menstruation. The local campaign team partners with several local organizations to provide a variety of menstrual product kits locally and around the world. We're honored to support their mission this month. You can give through Realm and via the online portal of our website, or if you're here in the sanctuary, the plate will be passed, and checks can be made out to UUC, and in the memo put shared offering. Half of all non-pledged donations will go towards sustaining the work of this church, and the other half will go toward our shared offering partner. When the music begins, the offering will be gratefully accepted. We invite you to give whatever is generous for you. This is about the time to write a written joy or sorrow.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you all for your generosity this morning. Your financial generosity, which sustains this church, but your spiritual generosity, which sustains each other. Now is our time for spoken joys and sorrows. I have a few from last week, but if you have a card that you would like shared aloud today, you're welcome to bring it forward or hand it to an usher, and you can always email as well. So a few joys and sorrows that this community would like lifted up this morning. These are from last week. So from Mimi, grateful for family members recovering from cancer and surgery. And Tanya Madrigal shared last week. She says, please help me wish my daughter congratulations as she graduates high school just this past week. Yay, yay to all the graduates. What milestones people are celebrating, it's wonderful. And last week, Beth Simpson shared that she was able to participate in a contra dance for the first time since her stroke. It was wonderful, and she was beaming. Indeed. Also from last week, a joy. I'm just going to read it as they wrote it because it's amazing. My documents for name change were accepted, and I am now legally Crow Willow McCartney, and surgery is scheduled for July. Congratulations, Crow, who I know is here somewhere today. Huge, huge milestones. And from Carrie, who had a joy and sorrow, but is here, is one of our brand new members you saw earlier. Carrie was in the hospital last week for gut issues, but they are facing a good recovery and were strong enough to be here today, and I'm so grateful for that. Jerry Carden shares, this is also from last week, let's celebrate a communal joy for the anniversary today, last week, of the founding of the Universalist Church in America in 1759. Of our Universalist Church in 1859. That's 167 years ago. We actually predate the founding of the University of Illinois. Our roots are deep, y'all. Our roots are deep. And then I'm catching up to today, so bear with me. Barbara Hudgens had shared that her grandson, Jack, graduated cum laude at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute with a dual degree, and she is very, very proud of him. A sorrow from the Goslins, heartbroken to share that we had to unexpectedly put our dog of 10 years, Sadie, Sadie was very ill, but she was by our side for every milestone, and we will miss her terribly. She was the best dog and our first baby. Please hug your fur babies and keep us in your thoughts. A joy from Charles. A joy for our wonderful trip to Oahu, Hawaii. We toured Royal Palace, hiked to the top of Diamond Head, visited all 5 of the island's botanical gardens, and much more. Caitlin learned to swim in the ocean, and we even saw an endangered Hawaiian monk seal. I am so happy for you both, especially, I don't know if they're here today, because just before that amazing trip, Caitlin's car got murdered, and so that was very hard. Joys and sorrows abound. A joy from Lynn Wiley and Sam Bashirs. 40 years ago today, we got up early, played a rousing game of volleyball with friends and family, and then we got married. What? Happy anniversary. A joy from Jim Hannum. Oh, right on the heels of that, congratulations to Sam and Lynn on their 40th wedding anniversary. May you have many more years of love. If there's any more that you'd like to bring forward, you can, but I have a joy that I want to lift up for everyone. Many of you know that we said goodbye to our Director of Faith Development in February, and I am grateful for every single person on both the staff and the board and all of the faith development volunteers who helped me keep, as my metaphor was, all of the glass balls juggling in the air this spring. We also were entering a search for, instead of a Director of Faith Development, a Minister of Faith Development. And that search team includes me, and the search team is here when I say your name. Would you mind standing up if you're able this morning? But Jim Wersch, who is a representative from our board, Debbie Rugg, Connor O'Neill, Melissa Watson, Katie Goslin, and Emily McCown, who, by the way, not only graduated from seminary while participating in the search, but gave birth to her first baby, who is here with her today. I'm so grateful for the wisdom and kindness and thoughtfulness of that search team. We've interviewed over the past month 3 very wonderful candidates, and we are very close to being able to make a decision and present that to the board, hopefully this week. So I'm just honored to have been part of that process, and honored to be entrusted with that by all of you. More news to come and more joy to come, but I did not want to let today go by without honoring and thanking the search team. Oh, for all that we've spoken aloud today, dear ones, and for all that we are always silently carrying in our hearts, I say thank you. I'm going to ring our singing bowl, and then I will invite you, as you hear the tone of that wash through you, to rise in body or spirit and sing with us all hymn number 159 in the gray hymnal, "This Is My Song."
Good morning. I'm Creel, and I am a fairly short, older woman with a long braid and an attitude. If I knew I was going to speak today, I probably would have washed my hair and put on something brighter. But I am going to share a reading with you that is magnificent. It's called They Are With Us Still by Kathleen Mateague. In the struggles we choose for ourselves and the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us, they are with us still. It is right to remember the names of those who gave us strength in the choice of living. It is right to name the power of hard lives well lived. They are with us still. We share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion. They are with us still. They too were strengthened by what had gone before. They too were drawn on by the vision of what might come to be. They are with us still. Those who lived before us, who struggled for justice and suffered injustice before us, have not melted into the dust and have not disappeared. They are with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. They are with us still. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands, and their hearts. They are with us still. We take them with us, and with them choose the deeper path of living. And I want to add as a pagan that we thank them and honor them by our actions, for they are with us still.
So it's a holiday weekend. Folks often joke, I've heard, about Memorial Day, that it's a great excuse for a long weekend, for the unofficial kickoff of summer, of barbecues and picnics. And indeed, I will tell you that for years, when I lived in Milwaukee, my husband and I always hosted a cookout on Memorial Day weekend. It started as just the two of us and 3 friends in our backyard and expanded over the course of about 10 or 15 years to a party in the park near our house with at least 50 to 100 people. It became a chili cook-off and a burger cook-off, and we got to watch so many children grow up, including a little one who at the age of 2.5 ran out of a diaper in the middle of the park. And next month, we'll be running across the stage to graduate from high school. I think of Memorial Day with fondness. But I'm also reminded of my early childhood in Eastern Kentucky and Tennessee. And Memorial Day for us was, yes, we would have a picnic, but it was more of a solemn affair. We gathered every Memorial Day at our cemeteries. We cleaned off the graves, we decorated them for our grandparents, aunts, cousins, people I had never met, but who the elders in my life wanted to honor. So I hold the tension of that, of the celebration and camaraderie, of an excuse, any reason really, to come together with dear ones, to celebrate life and to share food together, with the grief of knowing that this life is so brief, that somewhere is an unmarked, unremembered grave, that someone maybe will show up tomorrow to attend. This month's theme in worship is curiosity. Embracing curiosity. And I am often curious about how we get to where we are, how we as people are here now in this moment together. And I was curious, really, about how a day that so many, for decades, used to literally honor the dead, to gather in cemeteries, became the unofficial kickoff of summer and a barbecue day. And that story's just the story of culture shifting and changing over time. But the story of honoring and remembering our dead is an ancient human one. I think in some ways, many, many animals, not just the human animal, find ways to honor the dead. Did you all know that elephants grieve, for example? That if an elephant dies a traumatic death, that elephant's herd will come back year after year on the day, the anniversary of that death, to that spot to grieve the one that they have lost. We are not alone. We are not alone on this planet, let alone in this universe, in knowing that who we are, where we have been, and who we are connected to matters. But Memorial Day here in the United States has its roots very specifically in the Civil War. 600,000 soldiers died in the Civil War, and the estimates range well into the millions of the civilians who died during that bloody conflict. But there are instances recorded starting as early as 1863, and honestly, Gettysburg is one of them, of people gathering at the battlegrounds, the cemeteries where soldiers were laid to rest, to grieve and to honor the sacrifices that those people had made. But the first instance that many historians say truly marked Memorial Day happened in 1865 in Charleston, South Carolina. And while it wouldn't be until 3 years later in 1868 that a national observance, sparred by the work of General John Logan, became nationally recognized. In 1865, in Charleston, South Carolina, just as the war was starting to end, an entire community of freed Black people, freed for the first time, partly because of their efforts and the efforts of that war, gathered in May and went to the grounds of what had been a prison camp. And they went to where an unmarked mass grave was, where 257 Union prisoners of war had been unceremoniously dumped upon their deaths. And they dug them up, and they gave those 257 people a proper burial, a memorial, if you will. And then those freed Black people by the tens of thousands, led by school children, had a parade, and they marched through Charleston singing and shouting that freedom had come. A celebration and a commemoration, honoring the dead while also lifting up those still living. Memorial Day. Remembering those who have died for us, we often say, for the cause of freedom, for us in the military. And it is often, though, as we memorialize things in history, the great generals like John Logan or General Grant, the names go on, Napoleon, Alexander the Great. Their names get written down, and all their foot soldiers who march in their wake go unremembered, at least in name. Buffy St. Marie once wrote that history is written in a liar's scrawl. Others say, history's written by the victor, but I love that liar's scrawl because, dear ones, all of us at some point are liars. We lie about our histories. We believe the lies that are sold to us. if all we ever do when we remember our dead, when we remember any of our dead, but particularly our military dead, is praise the generals who sent them to die, we are doing nothing to actually uplift their lives. Because those historic roots of Memorial Day in Charleston, South Carolina, are a story that went untold for well over a century. The contributions of Black people in America, of Black people across the globe, have been erased on purpose, as have the contributions of women, because really all of those Memorial Days, before it became a national one, were organized by women. Women who had seen the ravages of war, women who were the ones who had to go onto the battlefields and bring home their dead and bury them. It was women who told General Logan, "Look what we've been doing to honor the soldiers who died under you. We should do this everywhere." I don't have the names of most of those women, and neither do you, and that is on purpose. Any more than we have the names of the Black people, the more than 10,000 that marched in Charleston, South Carolina in May 1865. That is on purpose, because history is written in a liar scrawl, and that liar scrawl erases the vast majority of us. We have erased Black people, we have erased women, we have erased queer people, because if you think they were not women dressed in men's clothes all their lives fighting in the Civil War, you are wrong. Fighting in every war. We erase Black people and queer people and women and poor people. And what we do when we wave our flags and say that we are honoring our soldiers, that we are memorializing them, is lifting up just one narrative, and dare I say it is a false one, about what patriotism and what democracy really are. Because I think if we are going to grapple realistically with not only Memorial Day, and here on this day in 1926, we have to grapple realistically with what we choose to remember, who we choose to memorialize. We have to get curious about the stories we tell and the ones we don't tell. Because the erasure of stories, the liar scrawl that crosses out name after name, community after community, is not something we used to do, it's something we are still doing. Power, those in power demand that for their sake, for their greed, for their status quo, that all of us stay fighting, stay unremembered, stay unrecognized. And the efforts of people to reclaim history, to reclaim a story, are the same efforts of those freed Black people reclaiming those bodies from that mass grave and saying each one matters. And there have been people throughout our history here in the United States doing that kind of reclaiming. And here in our contemporary world, historians like James Loewen and Howard Zinn and Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz have often been deemed as radical historians because they want to tell a people's history, for presenting narratives that don't glorify war. But if Memorial Day, if our notions of democracy are to have any meaning at all, if those who die and sacrifice to their country mean anything at all, then we have to be curious about what that sacrifice entails and to whom and for the sacrifice is made, because too often it is not made for the families that have to go onto the battlefields and collect their dead. It is made only for those who already have power, and it is made to enrich their pockets. And that is not new, but it is certainly still happening today. Our government is waging war right now, but it has always been waging war. The history of Western civilization, certainly of human history, is one long, uninterrupted conflict. Partly because we do not question the stories. We accept what we are told too often with no curiosity. And so we must, with curiosity, with humility, question, what are the stories we have swallowed about our own country, about our own selves as people, about the purpose of war at all? In this current era, people have been throwing around the term just war a great deal. And I'm not here to talk about that specifically, but I want to leave it there for a moment, what a just war means. Because I would argue that for the people gathering their dead off of battlefields throughout history, they weren't concerned with justice, but grief. And we, as Unitarian Universalists, we say that we are centered in our values, that we are moved by love with a capital L to put more justice into the world, that we are doing the work of justice and equity, of honoring the worth of every person, that we are doing the work of generosity by sharing our resources with one another, that we are doing the work of transformation by helping each other to change and grow, by embracing pluralism in the understanding that there are multiple truths, therefore multiple stories, and that we are interdependent. Those are our values, dear ones. They're not just words, they're the ways in which we strive to live. And if we, as contemporary Unitarian Universalists, are going to embody and live those values, then we have to question why and who and what. Because war, even if we might have deemed it just at some point, is always evil. War is always a failure of imagination. It divides and kills us and demands not only that we show up and kill others, but that we witness it, that we reason it out. Because in order to kill someone else, you have to dehumanize them, and when you dehumanize someone else, you sever yourself from your own humanity as well. A failure of imagination, to imagine that there might be a different way to be. And honestly, that's how history looks to us. We look backwards and we say, all of this was inevitable. This choice led to that choice, to that choice. And so, of course, we had to go to war. Of course, we had to build a bomb. I came across a poem this week that is so about the failure of imagination. I have to share it with you. It's by a poet named Joseph Fasano. And here is the poem that is such a failure of imagination, dear ones. It is titled, "Listening to the Billionaire Tell us AI is just the newest tool that everyone will benefit from." When men broke open the miraculous power of the atom, the first thing they did with it was deliver it into the hands of the school children of Hiroshima. It is a failure of imagination when we don't ask the questions about why and for whom. When we look at history as inevitable and say there was no choice, because if there is no choice, as poet Marge Piercy once wrote, then there is no ethics. And choice begins with questioning, with curiosity, with is there another path and what might it look like? Because I will tell you that the Civil War only became inevitable because people chose to put their profits over lives. For 200 years, they chose profit over humanity. For 200 years, they chose to enslave. We created chattel slavery here in this country. Created the American institution that the Confederacy said they would die to defend. That is in their Articles of Separation. And when people want to rewrite history and talk about states' rights, I always ask, states' rights to do what? To enslave others for the profit of a few. The Civil War was not inevitable. There were multiple moments in the history of this young country where we could have ended slavery before it ever became war. We chose not to. It only looks inevitable on this side of things. World War II was not inevitable. People had multiple opportunities to defy the rising fascism in both Germany and Italy. And many people did, but they were outnumbered. It only looks inevitable on this side. And I can't help but be curious about what we're choosing right now. What 100 years from now will someone looking at this moment in time say, it only looked inevitable because they chose not to, because they chose that path instead of this one. So what are we choosing together on this Memorial Day? What are we as Unitarian Universalists, rooted in love and justice and equity and transformation, choosing together in this world? In May 1865, when those 10,000 people chose to march to give honorable burial to those in that mass grave, even if they were not the true first Memorial Day, we can honor that root for ourselves. The roots of people who said, we've waited for freedom, and we've stopped waiting, and we're going to make it real, here and now. And we can think about all of the other choices that were made from 1865 to 1965. The choices we've made from 1965 to now. And I know many of you in this room, many of you listening to me, despair because you're tired of marching and demanding the same rights over and over and over again, and having the same 10 rich people say, not now. But just as the poem that Creel read, as Kathleen McTeague said, those who have fought for justice before us are not gone. They are not gone. They are here with us when we also choose to act. When we stop acting as if it's inevitable. Nothing in the future is yet inevitable. None of it is written yet. We write it right now. And so on this Memorial Day, may we remember that we actually do have power and choice. And that no matter what happens 100 years from now, in the next 100 minutes at least, we can breathe together, be together, love one another with curiosity and humility. We can choose to love our country even as we question it, because true patriotism and true democracy demands questioning, demands critique, demands many voices. Because resistance is always necessary against the powers that would say, I will have it all. In 2004, singer-songwriter Ani DeFranco, prolific songwriter, wrote a poem called Grand Canyon. And as I think about Memorial Day, as I think about how soon will we have freedom that is truly flourishing and thriving for all, I remember that it isn't an either-or proposition. It's not an all and done. It's an ongoing dialogue we have with each other, with the choices that we make, and with the ancestors who came before us, whose literal and figurative sacrifices we honor. So this is from Grand Canyon by Ani DeFranco. Yes, I love my country, by which I mean I am indebted joyfully to all the people throughout its history who have fought the government to make right, where so many cunning sons and daughters, our foremothers and forefathers, came singing through slaughter, came through hell and high water, so that we could stand here and behold breathlessly the sight. how a raging river of tears is cutting a Grand Canyon of light. Our collective actions, our collective choices, our collective curiosities always matter because we are always cutting a Grand Canyon of light. And even when we cannot see it, we can look back and let the lights of our ancestors shine for us, because if Memorial Day means anything, it means that we honor the dead by seeing the light that they have passed to us. And we choose here and now to keep that song of freedom, that light of freedom, that torch of democracy burning bright. May it be so, and amen. I would invite you, if you are moved to do so, to rise in body or spirit and sing our closing song, number 1028 in your teal hymnal, The Fire of Commitment. Dear ones, on this Memorial Day weekend, I hope you do indeed have celebration. May your bellies be filled with your favorite picnic and barbecue items, but may your spirit and your soul also be nourished by the memory of those who have come before you and to the light of the way that they call you forward to walk. We'll extinguish our chalice this morning with our words from Reverend Elizabeth Sully-Jones in your order of service and on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.